No, Pranjal, rigging is a separate course. So if you take it as a combo course, then you will get it at 10,000. So the whole price for animation plus rigging will be 35,000. I think I've already explained this to you. Obviously, rigging is a different course, right? So fees will not be same. Okay, anyway, let's start. So we did this much yesterday. Okay. So obviously I'm teaching, so I'm the animation faculty, right? If I am someone else, then I won't be teaching. Someone else will be teaching. Anyway, let's start. So yesterday we did this much. Okay, we covered uh like how the speed changes, right? How it's when it's up in the air, it's slower. When it reaches the ground, it is faster. And I showed something known as ghosting in Maya, okay, where we could see the past and present uh, positions. So, guys, please uh, let's talk about off-topic things after the class. Okay, not right now, so that there are no interruptions. Okay, so I had explained yesterday what ghosting does. So like if we turn it on this, you can see the past and present position. So it helps you to see how like the change in speed is happening, how the changes in the distance per frame affects the speed, right? It's properly visible. So there are two concepts. Basically, it's a one animation principle, but it has two things included, which is timing and spacing. Okay. So basically, there are 12 animation principles. You don't have to remember the list of it. Like if you just Google it right now, you'll get the list. Reading the list doesn't help you. Knowing what the principle is also doesn't help you. What helps you is how you actually apply it in your work. Okay. So people don't usually teach that, and that is the thing which is the most important. So, like, if let's imagine if it's an engineer and he just learns things, he just reads everything and remembers everything by heart, but he doesn't know how to do it practically, then it makes no sense, right? So same thing happens in our field also, obviously. The difference is too much between engineering and animation, but the basic thing applies. Knowing things is not enough. You should know how to actually apply them practically. Then only you can make use of it. Okay. So what is timing? Timing is basically what tells us how much time it takes for an object to move from one point to another. So it doesn't mean that it's only translation, it could be rotation, it could be anything. Okay. For the sake of keeping things simple, we consider like a box or a sphere or a ball or whatever. And we imagine that it is moving from point A to point B. Okay. So, like just like how we did the curves exercise, right? So what we did was we keyed we created four different boxes and we keyed them on the first frame and then we keyed them on the last frame. I think it was the 30th frame or maybe few frames before that. So the timing we had decided that it will take around 1 second. Okay. And the way it was transitioning from one point to the other point was different, isn't it? We did acceleration, we did deceleration, we did the constant linear motion, and the last one was the easy ease, also known as the slow in and slow out, because again, in the normal movement that we get from any 3D software is ease in and ease out. That means in the beginning it's slow, then it gains speed, and then again it is slow. This is also an animation principle. Okay. You don't have to worry about remembering all these. You just need to understand the concepts. Okay. So here we're talking about the timing and spacing. So in that exercise, that's exactly what we did. We adjusted the timing and then we changed the spacing of it. So here also you can see the timing we have already assumed that it's going to take 30 frames for the ball to do one bounce up and down. Like if you watch any videos online of balls like footballs or any types of balls getting thrown, they take around 1 second only to create a bounce up and down. You can also experiment on your own. I'm sure everyone must be having some type of basketball, cricket ball, or something. You can experiment with it. You will see it takes around 1 second only. Okay. So, so 1 second, like obviously in 3D, it is considered as 24 frames. To make it a little bit more dramatic, I have taken 30 frames for this. Okay, you can also make it happen in 24 frames. It will not change anything about it. It will still be accurate. Okay. So basically, me giving a few extra frames is a point of exaggeration. Exaggeration is another principle of animation. You will always notice that, like if you look at any 2D cartoons, because 2D cartoons are the visual, like you can visually see the extreme exaggeration happen, right? Like you will see that when a character is like running and he hits maybe a wall or something, he gets totally smashed, right? So obviously that doesn't happen in reality. That's just an exaggeration which is done so that animations look even more attractive, eye-catching, and funny. That's the whole point. So that's why we exaggerate the movements. So here, to make it look a little bit more uh, exaggerated, I have given a few extra frames. You can definitely do it in 24 frames as well. All right. So I have decided exactly. Physics gets broken in 2D animation. In 3D, we still take care of how things work. We still exaggerate them, but we don't do it with that extremities. You can definitely do it if you want. The like we have so many rigs which are capable of getting broken in that way, but uh, yeah, it's just a point of choice, okay, what you're trying to show. If you really like that kind of 2D exaggerated animation, you can definitely do that as well. Now, the type of animation that we see in movies, you won't see that much exaggeration in terms of, physical aspects getting completely broken. Maybe in some movies you will see some points you will see like it is a little bit too much, but mostly it will be subtle, not that much. Okay. So me giving a few extra frames is a subtle exaggeration. That's it. So again, like we have decided the timing, okay, that to complete a full bounce, this ball will take around 30 frames. And the point of impact is happening at 15th frame. And when I changed the movement by manipulating the curve, I basically changed its spacing. Okay. I adjusted the spacing. So, like previously, like if you can see if you turn on ghosting and if you try changing the curve, you will see the live effects of it. See, like if you make it too steep, then what will happen? It will be very slow in the beginning and too fast in the point of impact. See, there are only like 2 frames in between that are left, and you can see they're taking so much space, right? They're covering such large distances. So that is extremely fast. So if you turn on ghosting, you can experiment with these things. Okay, let me undo that and I will turn off ghosting. Okay. So you can see I'm hiding and unhiding the controllers as well. Okay, I'm doing that by pressing Alt plus 1 in the keyboard. If you go to the show options, you will see NURBS curves. So these controllers are created with the help of NURBS curves, and you can hide them by pressing Alt plus 1. You can also put them inside a layer. Okay, I can name them controls, and you will see like if you turn off this P button in between, okay, and if you hit play, you will see the controls are not visible. And if you turn them on, like the center P button on, then it will be visible. So the P is basically for playback. So this setting is basically there to help animators. Okay. I don't want to create a layer. I usually, for controls, I just turn them on and off for simple objects. Okay. All right. So yesterday we just made one change that was happening at the point of impact. Now it's looking better. You can see that there is some mass in the ball, but it's still quite fast at the top. It should stay slower for a longer time for the ball to feel heavier. Okay. So what I'll do here is I will expand the tangent, right? Because I want to slow it down. So obviously I'll expand it and try to flatten it. By flattening it, it doesn't mean that I will flatten it like this. Okay. What we did in the previous class was to show you how the extreme changes happen. It doesn't mean that we always flatten it like this. We flatten it according to how much slow we want the object to be. Okay. So here, like currently, this is the position. You can see our ball is coming over here. It's not very fast, but I want it to be even slower, so I flatten this. Okay, and just like that, I will flatten the other side as well. Okay, so it's similar. And now, if I play it right now, it will look slightly odd, not very odd, just slightly odd. Just at the point of impact, should be a little bit more faster. But now you can see so much of mass is visible. See? The ball is slowing down at the top quite a lot, and then at the base, it is fast. You can make it even faster. Like if you come over here, if you have already made it steeper, you can make it even more steeper and increase the speed a little bit more. And now you can see the difference, right? Let me show you what we had earlier. So like if I set it back to what we had earlier, so by default, we have auto span set, right? I showed over here in the preferences, auto span. So that's why we get the easy ease or the slow in and slow out movement of the curves. So I can set it back by coming over here. I can set it to auto tangents. So you will see we got the exact same shape that we did when we first created the keyframes, right? So if you see it right now, you can see how odd it looks, so unnatural. But after editing it, you can see how nice it looks. You can see the mass, like it is actually having some weight, right? Because there is changes in speed. Okay, the ball has potential energy at the top and at the bottom kinetic energy. So you must have learned about it in class 7th or 8th. I'm sure many of you might have forgotten it, but we learned this as well in school. Okay. Now, there is one thing which is missing in this. Whenever you throw a ball down from a height, it doesn't just translate down. There is rotation also which happens. But we are not going to do rotation in this exercise. We will do it in the next exercise, which will be a football bounce. So we will be throwing it, like I will be using a reference basically for that. So in that, we will be doing rotation. Okay. For now, we will keep it very simple. So we have a normal ball bounce. You can see at the point of impact, we don't see any shadows. So in Maya, you can go ahead and turn on something known as ambient occlusion, which basically shows contact shadows. So if you hover over these little options here, uh, this first one is there for ambient occlusion. So if I turn it on, you can see it has created a contact shadow. So it helps you to see the ball impacting the floor even more. Okay. This last one is there for anti-aliasing. So this makes the edges smooth. Right now you can see there are jagged edges. Okay, so if you have a very old graphics card and all, then if you keep like if you have lots of objects in the scene, then viewport will lag. It will run slowly. So you can keep this off, then it will give you a little bit better speed. But if you have a good system, I mean basic system will work, you can just turn this on and you will have smoother edges. And we can also turn on motion blur in the viewport. So right now it looks like this, and I can go ahead and turn on motion blur. And if I hit play, you can see slightly we're getting a blur. So obviously it's not perfect because we're just getting it in the viewport, but still it makes things more interesting. Okay. These things help because not all animators know lighting, shading, and rendering, so they can just, create good previews. So what is a preview? Like right now, we can see all of this in the viewport. So let's say you're not going to render it, but you want to compile your work, right? Let's say you've created multiple animations. So you want to compile it together. So you do it by creating a play blast. So basically, a preview is known as a play blast in Maya. Okay, so to create it, you need to come down in the time slider, right click, you will see the play blast option. Don't directly click on it, go to the option box over here. The square box is for the options. Click on that and this will open up. Let me reset the settings. So this is how your settings will be. If you create a play blast like this as of now, let me show you how horrible results you will get. See? How blurry it is. So this is obviously very low res, right? You want really high quality results, then what you have to do is again go to the Play Blast settings, amp up the quality to 100, amp up the scale to 1, and from here you can put uh, your display size. Like if you want it in HD, you can put 1920, 1080, and click on apply. Now you can see we have a smooth result, just like how the viewport was looking. Okay. So like this, you can create a play blast. Now the bad side of creating a really high res play blast is that the file size which gets created is very large. So like for this it will work, it won't be that large, but later on you will have to use conversion softwares. That thing really sucks about Autodesk. Like in Maya, also in 3ds Max, this problem is there. The play blast that we create is very high res because it's only created in AVI format. Okay, so anyway, you don't have to worry about it right now, it will be simple. Now where it is getting saved, it gets saved in the default location in local disk C. Obviously, it's difficult to find it. What you can do instead is go back to the settings, click on Save to File, okay? And just like by default, it will be off. So just check Save to File, go to Browse, click wherever, like you can just select wherever you want to save it. You can create a folder for your Play Blasts and just name it and then save it and hit apply. That's it. Okay. Pratmesh, obviously it's getting recorded. Every day we record it. Okay. So yeah, that's how you can save it. Okay. You don't have to worry about anything right now. You can just create the ball bounce and just share it. And you can also record it with your phone. You don't always have to create a play blast. All right. Like you can just hit play here and record it with your phone and send it to me. I will turn off the motion blur right now. So we have created a solid ball bounce. Now we are going to take it a step further and we will exaggerate it. How will we exaggerate it? We will be adding squash and stretch. Okay. So squash and stretch is something which is very much present in the old 2D animation cartoons, which you can see. Like if you watch any 2D cartoons, especially the Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny, all of these cartoons, even Tom and Jerry, they really use squash and stretch so much in whatever they're doing. Okay, it really makes the animations look better. Okay, so can anybody tell me what happens, like what will happen at the point of impact? Will the ball get stretched or will it get squashed? Let me show you visibly what happens. This is stretch, this is squash. What do you think will happen? Right, it will get squashed. Okay, so when something gets squashed, it also expands because the volume is preserved, right? You cannot expect the ball to go down and get squashed and not get expanded like this because then it breaks the law of physics, right? So it will always expand like this. And if you want to stretch it out, it will always contract. So the volume is always preserved. Okay. Yes, Devendra, everyone has to share their results with me. Okay. It's important because if you're doing something wrong, I will ask you to share your file and in class, we will do the corrections. Okay. So that's how you will learn. So it's very important to share your work, whatever you're doing, so I can guide you properly. So yeah, so we will be doing the squash and stretch. So let's keep it simple. So we'll start from the point of impact. Okay. So obviously this controller is at the bottom. Obviously we cannot use that because it needs to stay in touch with the ground. So we will use this top controller. Okay. So I'm going to squash it. Not, I don't like to squash it this much. Usually in 2D animation, they do this extreme squash and stretch. I don't personally like it, so I just squash it a little bit. Okay. You can do it a little bit more also. That's up to you. You can also do it like this. That's completely your choice. I personally like this much. So I'm keeping it like this. And obviously we need to key it, right? If we don't key it, then it will not stay like that. So let's key it. Okay. So I've keyed it here. Now there will be a problem. If we go and play it, you can see I've just added one key. That's why it is remaining squashed, right? So obviously this is wrong. So I've definitely added a key here, but before that, it should maintain its form. And even before that, like first, in the first frame, it should be completely round. So we need to go to the first frame and we need to zero this out. So you can do it quite easily. You can go to the translate y, type zero here, and then you have zeroed it out. And you can do the same thing for the last frame. So this is one workflow. Second workflow is, let me delete the keyframes. Oh, let me show you how I selected all the keyframes. Like if you want to get a hold of all the keyframes together and delete them, you have to press Shift on the keyboard, left mouse button. You can see it will get red. When you press Shift, left mouse button, it will get red and you need to expand it like this. Keep pressing the left mouse button and expand it. Now you have all of them selected and now you can delete them together. Okay. So you can see I have deleted all of that. So what I'll do instead is I will first key it in the first frame and the last frame and preserve its shape, right? Then at the point of impact, I'm going to squash it. So it is squashed. Now, definitely it is in the round shape at the first and last frame and squashed in between, but still there is a problem. Let me play it. You can see it is getting squashed right in the air, right? It shouldn't happen here. It is getting squashed right in the air, and this is exactly what we don't want. So, what we have to do is we have to put a stopping key. This is known as a stopping key. So, I'll go to the 14th frame and I will put a zero. I'll go to the 16th frame and I'll put a zero. Now, what it did, it added stoppers, right? 15 is the point of impact, so it is getting squashed here. But at 14 and 16, I want it to be round for now. Okay, we will be stretching it out, but we won't be using this controller. We will be using this lower controller because it is closer to the ground. The stretch happens because the gravity is pulling the object. Okay, so this area, the bottom area, is obviously closer to the ground compared to the upper area. So that's why this is the area which gets stretched out first. Okay, so I will be using different controller for it. So different controller for the squash. Okay. So we have put a zero key on the first and last frame. At the point of impact, we squashed it and we put stopping keys at 14th and 16th. Is this clear? Have you understood why I had to put a stopping key? Right? Like if I didn't put the stopping key, then obviously it would keep on going weirdly. So we don't want that. Okay, good. So now if I hit play, you can see the squash is visible. It's good only, but if something is squashing, it will also stretch out. Okay, whenever squash happens, stretch also happens. All right. Especially here when an object is high in speed closer to the ground, it will definitely stretch out. So we have to stretch it out, right? So again, at the point of impact, I have the slower controller selected, right? Because now we're using different set of controller. So at the point of impact, we don't want it to move, right? If you move it, then what will happen? You will get intersection. Then the squash that you created will disappear. So we need to put a stopping key here to prevent it from changing its shape at the point of impact. Okay, so I will press S at this point. Same thing we want at the maximum height. We don't want it to change. You don't want it to change its squash and stretch at the highest point. So again, I'm putting a stopping key. So basically, I put stopping keys at the first and last frame and at the point of impact. Okay. Now, where do we want the stretch? We want the stretch right before and after the squash. So here we want it to be stretched out. So let's stretch it out. So now you can see we have a stretch here and we have a squash. Then again, right after the squash, we want it to stretch out again. So you can see stretch, squash, stretch. So this is fine, but again, look at this. Between 0 and 14, we don't have any stoppers, right? At 0, frame number 0 or the first frame, everything is zeroed out. There is no change in the controller. At the 14th frame, we have stretched it out. So we definitely don't want this to happen. Like this transition is not right. It looks like an egg, right? So that doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a ball. So again, we will put stoppers. So I will go to the 13th frame. Like you can actually give one extra frame in between. You can go to the 12th frame also and put a stopper there. So let's say I want to put a stopper at 12th frame. I'll show you the difference. Let me first put it at 13th. Okay. So now you can see it is zeroed out at 13. So it is round. And at 14, because we had stretched it out, it is stretched out. So what is happening? It's round at 13th, stretched at 14th, squashed at 15th, and then it gets stretched out again. So this is fine. It works. But let's say you want to add a transition between this shape and this shape. See, this there's a big gap here, so we can give a better transition. Now just remember that Maya is an assistant animator for us, right? So we have created our main pose here, which is supposed to keep it round. So instead of keeping it at the 13th frame, I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go to the 12th frame and I'll zero it out here. So now I have put a stopping key at 12th frame. So that basically means from 0 to 12, the shape remains round. And at 13th, you can see it is slightly stretched. And at 14th, it gets maximum stretched out. And then it gets squashed and stretched again. So the transition is a lot better. You can see the pull of gravity affecting its shape. Okay. If you don't want this, if you don't like it, you can definitely keep that frame at 13th itself. So what will happen from 0 to 13, it will remain round. It will get stretched, squashed, and stretched again. I personally want to give one transition, so I'm keeping it at 12th. So this works out for me. Okay, now we have to repeat the same thing for the next, right? Because after the impact, it's going back. So if I don't make any changes, don't add a stopping key, then you can see it will take so much of time, right? So instead, I will leave out the 17th frame, I'll go to 18th and I will zero it out at translate Y. So see what's happening? From 0 to 12, it is round. At 13, it is slightly stretched. Why is it slightly stretched? Because Maya is working as an assistant animator. I have given it one key where it is zeroed out, another key where it is stretched out. So it is transitioning it for me from 12 to 14. Okay, so it is getting slightly stretched and then it is getting even more stretched out, then squashed, then stretched. Then you can see stretch is reducing at 17th and then it is going to the round shape again and it remains round till the 30th frame or the last frame. And if we hit play now, you can see the squash and stretch appears. Okay, and if you turn on motion blur, it looks even better. Okay. Okay. How to move the key? You just have to press shift, left mouse button and drag it. Okay. No, Devendra. Okay, a middle mouse button. That also, wait, you're saying? Okay, yeah, I didn't say middle mouse button. Avinash said. You have to basically see to move the keys, press shift, left mouse button, it will get red in color and just simply drag it. That's it. Okay. To activate the selection, you have to press shift. Just like when you're selecting multiple objects in Maya, you press shift, right? If there are multiple objects, let me show you. Let me see. When you're selecting multiple objects, you press shift and get a hold of the next object so that you can move them together. So same concept applies to uh, to the keys. So we press shift, left mouse button and just move it. All right. So now we have this squash and stretch. Collision surface on floor. Floor itself is the collision surface. I mean, that's where the ball is getting collided to, right? Are you asking in terms of dynamics? This is not dynamics, this is manual animation. So we are not doing any effects here. We're doing it manually. You have to do it exactly the way I have done. Okay? No need to add any dynamics or anything. Okay? All right. So now let me show you how you can create a really nice play blast. Okay. So I will expand the floor, make it a little bit more wide, and we can change the color of viewport. If you press Alt plus B on the keyboard, you will be able to change the colors. So I will keep it black. Okay. And I will be putting some viewport lighting and then we will create uh, a play blast. So I'll go here and create and we'll go to lights and I will take a spotlight. I'll click on that. The spotlight is created. So right now, like if I rotate it, nothing happens because lights are off on the viewport. So if you go here, you will see this bulb option here. So click on that. Now the light is on. So now I've added only one light, so it looks a little bit weird. And this is viewport lighting, so you will not get physically accurate results. So we have to just cheat it a little bit, but we can make it happen. So I am rotating the spotlight. Okay, now we can edit the settings of it. You have to go to the side over here, go to the attribute editor. Then you will get the spotlight options. You can change the cone angle. Okay, make the cone wider, then you can soften the edges by reducing the penumbra angle. Okay. And if you want more of a spotlight effect, you can increase the drop off. And you can create another light. So you can see I've rotated it. So one side is getting rotated, the other side is way too dark. That obviously doesn't happen in reality, but this is viewport lighting. So it will not be physically accurate, but that's okay. We can add another light. A fill light. So we'll go to create, we'll go to lights again, and I'll click on directional light. So this directional light basically gives an ambient lighting. Okay, so some sort of lighting gets added and it is even from every side. And I'm going to reduce its intensity because I just need to fill it so that the areas which were appearing darker are not so much dark. Okay, so I'm just keeping it like this and then I will duplicate this and put it over here as well, or we can just put one light. And basically the second light that I'm putting, I'm going to reduce its intensity. Okay. This is not the intensity I want. So I will reduce it. So we get something like this. Okay. So now we have something like this, but the light is still visible here. So if you don't want to see the lights, you can go ahead and hide the lights. So now the lights are not visible. They're still there, but not visible. Then you can create a nice angle. So now it's like this. Okay. And you can create a play blast. Go ahead and create a play blast. And now we have this. Okay. Now there's one thing. See, the video is only 1 second long, right? It's just getting played again and again because it is set in loop. Now, when you're like sending it to someone, it will just play in 1 second and it will stop because that's how the mobile players work, right? If you're sending it on WhatsApp or something like that. So there's a cool thing that you can do. You don't have to worry about the working of it right now. Just understand what it is doing. Okay. So I will select all the controllers. Okay. I'll go to the first frame, make sure to key it once more, and I'll go to the last frame and just key it. See, when I say keying it, I'm basically pressing S. Okay. So yes, Soham, we'll be setting it to infinity. Okay. So I will add 90 frames. Okay. Right now you can see there is no movement beyond 30, right? It just stops at 30. Just one bounce happens because we have only done animation till here. So what we can do instead is just select all the controllers, go to the graph editor, select all the curves, okay? And you go to the tangents. Sorry, you go to the curves, not the tangents. Go to post infinity and click on cycle. As soon as you do that, you will see animation is still visible beyond this last frame. Previously, it was not visible. I've set the animation in a loop. So you can see it is keep on getting played. Okay, that way you can create a longer preview. So now you will see the preview will be longer. See, it is 3 seconds long. Okay, so if you want it to be 4 seconds long, you can increase it, keep it to 120 frames. If you're like creating the animation with 30 frames, then yeah, that's how you will do it. Okay. So this is how you can create a nice play blast. You don't have to do any fancy rendering and lighting, just simple viewport lighting. So this works for people who don't have a really like if you don't have a really high end graphics card. Some people don't even have like they only have integrated graphics card. So integrated graphics cards are very limited. So obviously rendering will cause issues. So in that way, you can still learn, you can still work, but you can create viewport lighting and create your previews like this. Okay. 3050 is more than enough, Devendra. Okay. Don't worry. Okay, you all are rich people. You have good gr- uh, graphics card. Don't worry. Okay. Uh, Obviously, if you have such a good high-end graphics card, you won't face any issues. Okay. Uh, all right. So let's keep it till here. Okay, I'll stop the recording